Hello, folks. I'm just now getting started. I'll be doing a new stream this morning that will include coloring the cartoon that I did last night, the Shattered Republican Elephant, as the Republican Party starts to break apart. Join me again in just a couple of minutes and I'll get started. Oh, just about started. Okay, I think I'm ready to get started. Thank you for joining me, folks. And in case you're wondering, I'm here drawing on the Wacom tablet today. This is my regular desktop view, except now it's full of Wacom tablet, and you can see kind of a little too close for comfort. So we'll forget that. And this is the drawing from yesterday, the Republican elephant that's shattering. I'm going to need to make a few little revisions to him that I think are not quite looking right. And I need to clean up the hickeys on here because this is just the scans put together. So let's get going. If you've never seen this before, I appreciate a follow on Twitch. Oops. And do comment. I appreciate the comments. Comments help me keep talking to myself, which is not a natural thing to do, constantly talking to yourself. So I'm in here cleaning up all the little muck that happens every time you scan original art. And this will take me 10 minutes. 10 minutes of house cleaning. Stinking keyboard Anyway, if you're watching, leave a comment and say hello. And give me a follow. So, with all the turmoil in the Republican Party, I'm drawing a... Come on, keyboard. I have to switch keyboards. I've got a big wired keyboard that I know works. The little one is more convenient. Let's give this a little dose of more contrast, huh? I think I'm still in grayscale. Bump that up. Brightness up, contrast up. I think that was an area where I had erased what I was working on, which makes it want to dull down a bit. So, erasing can give you the cruddies. But that's not too much hassle. I'm thinking of making a new video which is the answer to all of the questions that get repeated. Where do you get your ideas? What kind of paper do you use? What kind of pencil is that? Are you inking? Kind of questions. I have that on my list of things to do. So there are 10 people watching between Twitch and YouTube. Nobody says a word. You guys lurk quietly. I think you're also shy. Oh, I should bitmap this to get rid of the little crud. There you go. I'm drinking my Flint, Michigan water again this morning. So you folks are here watching. You say nothing. You're very quiet. So we may see the Republican Party self-destruct. They're so averse to compromising. They all see themselves as rebels. The establishment doesn't see itself as establishment. So, existential crisis for them, I think. Always a rebel, never a rebel. These are just hickeys. I find that you might think the hickeys are worse since I drew this in pencil, but I find that the hickeys in the cleanup time is just the same if I did this in ink on Bristol. as it is with pencil on vellum. Get crud from your underdrawing or your blue line drawing. So there's always crud to deal with. But that's okay. Some cartoonists don't do a good job cleaning up their hickeys, and they leave all the hickeys in. I suppose they think that creates a bit of ambiance, hickey ambiance, but it does not. They just need better house cleaning, those messy artists. So I think the color on this should be fairly simple. I'm just mostly a suit, and the contrast between the stark background, which I think I may just leave white, and the shoelace cleaned up a bit. I should be sitting here at least an hour and a half to get this colored and out in black and white and color versions. And that's a quick one for me. Sometimes coloring takes me longer than that. One thing I'm going to need to decide as I'm coloring this is whether I want to give his internal flesh that's getting shown here in some of the breaks, whether I want to make that bright red, because that's a little bit nasty. I haven't decided that yet. I think I'll decide when I see it. Well, there's a dozen people watching, saying nothing. Also quiet. And I think the stream is working well. And it looks like it's working on both Twitch and YouTube without any issues. Okay, that's the last of the hickeys. Let's save that. He's 1000 DPI online. Now let's save as... Let's save him as gray and 400 DPI. Okay. And then we need to make him grayscale. And add some layers. I usually add as many layers as I have space in the window. Unlock the background, move it to the top. Drink the Flint, Michigan water. Alright, let's select color range. I'm going to make that 100% black. That looks good. Now let's select the inverse and delete. Then on the bottom layer, I shall fill with 100% white. Okay, there we go. There he is. I could pull this hand in a little bit and center him a bit more. Do I want to do that? I think maybe I do. Let's try that. I'm going to move that, oops, move that down and in a little bit. It's looking a little more broken that way. Let's move this down a little too. I'm not quite happy with the spot where it ended up. Let's take everything, move it a little farther to the right, and I think that's probably a little better. I can take this and move it off a little to the left. His broken hand. Let's grab this guy and bring him over as well. Looks like he can use that. Everyone's so silent. That guy. Come up a little bit. Some of this needs to change. That helped a little bit. More trouble than it was worth, but a little bit. That one was bothering me. Put this there. It's a little better. Okay, is everything ready to start coloring? I can move this knee out a little bit. That might be a little funnier. Nah, it kind of works. Alright, saving this. Alright, now I think I'm gonna save this again and rename as CMYK. I'm gonna make it CMYK. I'm using old Photoshop CS4. Old Workhorse still works, so I haven't upgraded. But it can take its time. This is still at 1000 dpi, so let's make our image size 400. Oh, and I needed to double check that my black really is black, so let's double check before I get too far into this. And it is not black, so I'll have to go back and change that. Change from 100% black to a bunch of crud. So select all, select color range. Okay. Now I want this to be 0, 0, 0, 100. We will delete and fill. And we'll see if that really is 100, because sometimes Photoshop likes to push back. And it is 100. Okay. Now I can change it to 400 dpi. That should be good. We'll save. Blow that up a little. Alright, I'm ready to start coloring here. So, what color to make the suit? I'm going to color the suit in first. Save that and make the grayscale out of that from the color version. So let's say the suit is 50 cyan, 10 magenta, 10 yellow, 10 yellow, and 0K. That's 2 blue. 25 magenta. Hey, Kid Scoop News! You're my first comment today. It took 25 minutes into this drawing for me to get a comment. 50, 25, 25. That's a suit color. Alright, let's go with that. 50, 25, 25. And thank you for the kind words, Kid Scoop News. And, oh, I have to remember to put that on multiply. Never forget that for the black lines. And let's delete a couple of these, because I got too long for the box. Alright, down here, let's call layer 6 suit base. Suit base. Couldn't get Twitch streaming this morning, but today YouTube works, right? Kid Scoop News. My Twitch here looks like it's working okay. We've got 14 people watching on Twitch and 2 people watching on YouTube. So, sounds to me like Twitch is working a little better. 16, let's bump that up a little bit. And I'm just going to do the interior of the suit edges. And I'll come back with a thicker brush and fill it in. No red ties on Twitch rights. Twitch is working. Good. Yeah, it looks like it's working fine to me. On my laptop next to me, I've got Twitch and YouTube windows open just to see if they freeze. That's why you see me often looking over here to the right. I can't have that on my Mac that I've got running both Photoshop and OBS. That would be too much thinking for the Mac. It would slow it down and make it drop frames. All this junk you'll learn when you start streaming, huh? Stuff I learned all the hard way. Nobody quite wants to tell you everything you need to know. Tell you little snippets of stuff you might need to know that are always incomplete. So this streaming is for Macintosh people who can't take advantage of a lot of the PC stuff and a lot of the YouTube videos that are just for PCs, and how OBS works so differently on PC than on a Mac, and how cameras for PCs and Mac are not compatible. I think it's kind of a difficult prospect to come about this as an artist working on a Macintosh. Streaming is made for gamers with PCs. Scoop News writes, it seems to go back and forth on my Mac day to day. Whatever works. Whatever works. Big reason I have it also on YouTube is that it's just nice to have it automatically archived on YouTube. I don't know that I get to things on Twitch before Twitch deletes them. Twitch is not a reliable archive, which is bad for them because you'd think they'd want to allow people to archive all the videos they want there and then promote their homepage on Twitch. But not being able to archive your videos makes you not want to promote your homepage on Twitch. Perhaps this is not such an issue with the gamers, but as a cartoonist, I like to post my videos with my cartoons. People can come in and watch the cartoon being made. Just leave it there forever. Nice to have a video archive. And yes, Twitch has a function for outputting to YouTube. Okay. I'm just drawing in edges of suit color. Cartoon Man. Oh, you're Kid Scoop News, Cartoon Man. I got it. I think the only real advantage to watching on Twitch over watching the YouTube feed is that your comments show up on my screen widget. Sorry, I've got the microphone right in front of my nose here, and every so often I bump it with the stylus. In case you're wondering, what's with those bumps? Like this, I'm bumping it with the stylus. This is my tabletop camera from yesterday. You can see me here drawing with the stylus on the Wacom tablet. And hitting the microphone. Now this blue is going to go underneath the black, and it's going to make the black where it's underneath it much blacker. So I need to think about areas that I'm not putting the blue behind and how they're going to stick out. And the reason I'm avoiding these edges is that I'm thinking I might make them red bloody flesh colored, which would be provocative. Bloody flesh. Anyway, back to the better picture. Right now I'm leaning towards yes, doing the bloody flesh color. Oops, that's wrong. And I'll decide later if I want to do any background. I might put a little light background color in. Maybe a yellow. Something that'll keep the breaks looking stark. So, just everyday coloring work. And nobody new following today. 15 people watching. No new follows. And all but 2 with nothing to say. Oh, I think this cartoon will be used to illustrate many op-ed pieces in the weeks ahead, says Cartoon Man, who is also Kid Scoop News. Thank you, sir. Yeah, this is almost an evergreen cartoon, isn't it? I've got some other similar ones. Republicans tied up in knots. I did a Republican Guernica that's on one of my Facebook pages. And since doing that, I've noticed other cartoonists doing elephant Guernica. Seems that's a natural idea. I typically make the elephant's flesh tone about 20 cyan, 20 magenta, a light purple, which I think grays up. Purple loses its intensity when it's printed in CMYK in the newspaper. Ends up looking like a gray, but it's got more character than a gray. So that's why I make the elephants purple. I had a cartoonist friend, Stan Goldberg, who passed away not long ago. And he worked at Marvel during the exciting high Marvel days of my youth. And he was in charge of color. And they just let Stan decide what color things should be. So Stan decided the Hulk should be green. And apparently the Hulk started out as gray rather than green. And I asked him, why green? And he said, oh, we had great inks then, and we were getting a great green and hardly using it at all. And that's why the Hulk is green. Gray. Who needs gray in a comic book? Yeah, I collected comics when I was a kid, and I was more of a DC kid than a Marvel kid, which I think is not the common experience among my peers. So when I was a kid in the late 60s, 70s, Marvel was ascendant, and DC was doing stupid stuff. Lily Bean writes, suppose you guys saw Carson dropped out now. No, when did that happen? You know, I haven't had the TV on. Carson drop out today? Tell me about this, Lily Bean. He needed to drop out, but the speculation was that he was treating the campaign like a book tour, and it was profitable for him to keep up with his book tour. Although, books don't make as much money as people think they do. When I hear stories about politicians getting millions of dollars advances on books, I listen to those with skepticism and incredulity. Alright, I've got an error here that needs a fix. Looks like I also have a scanning error going on. Saw the headline in the Washington Post a half an hour ago, writes Lily Bean. Well, high time he dropped out. There was a time when people thought he was doing really well. Oops. Let's go back to 100%. Oh, that was on the multiply layer is why. Cartoon Man writes, I think the real Dr. Ben Carson brain surgeon has been tied up in a closet somewhere while this nutty guy campaigning pretended to be him. Oh, he hasn't formally quit. Well, what is it that he did, Lily Bean, that is worthy of a headline? Was he just speculating about quitting? Was he waxing philosophic? He doesn't need to quit. He can call attention to himself and get his message heard and keep being invited to debates. Really no big incentive to quit, I think. Lily Bean writes, oh, I see though, he hasn't formally quit yet. Honestly, I'm surprised he's hung on this long. Oh, well, it's a big ego trip, you know. And he looks like he has a big ego. I haven't quite decided if I like this blue. I know that when I use grays, if I use a gray as an important color in a cartoon, annoys the editors. Editors want colors, even though it's a grayed down blue. Cartoon Man writes, Carson said he sees no path forward and will skip tomorrow's debate, though not formally suspended his campaign. Well, you'd think that if he's not suspending his campaign, he'd want to go to the debate. Something fishy with this guy. Maybe he needs a fresh set of clothes again. Oh, because he went back to Florida to get his clothes and take a shower. Well, I tell you, listening to him talk about his affinity for the anti-vaxxers and his not believing in evolution makes me question whether I would want him for my doctor. Those don't sound like the kinds of ideas a doctor I would trust would have. I think Ben Carson looks like a nice guy that you might want to have a drink with at dinner. But I don't think I want him as my doctor or my president. Okay, did I miss any other little chunks? Are any chunks gone? Yes, I did. Okay, I'm gonna... Well, there, I can get a bit more chunk. Chunk there. Alright, let's save. And I'm gonna save a copy. CMYK2. Alright. Now let's see what we think about red edges. Is that going to be too nasty? We will decide right now if red edges are too nasty. See, 99, 100. Okay. Tell you what, instead of that, let's try that. Not quite blood, but still fleshy. There's his bone. You know, having that not be entirely blood red, I think makes it work a little better. Still nasty, but not blood red nasty. Excuse the coughs and the bumping the stylus on the microphones. You know, this gives him just enough hint of bloody reality without actually being a bloody reality. So I think I'm good with it. Got some nasty going on, huh? Just enough nasty. Not too much nasty. Just enough nasty. I missed some chunks over there. It helped to make that not quite the right red. Needed a step back. Okay, let's go back to here. Color in the missing chunks. I think that's working. So Alright, let's do the... You know, I'm going to save this again. Okay, so I want to come back to this point. CMYK3. Okay. Now let's give him a base head color. flesh color. Elephant flesh, we'll call it 2020. Alright. Now I'm just going to go in and fill like I did before with my elephant flesh base 2020. Think about how other cartoonists would color something like this. Most of them would not spend as much time with it as I do, getting the edges right on the little black lines. They would liberally slop color over this. Come back and clean up the cracks with a little bit of white on top. I go to more trouble with color than I need to, and I know that. But I go to less trouble than some artists do. Always interesting to see other artists color at different events. Oh, there's a little bit that needs some red, isn't there? On the side of his skull. Oh, so Lily Bean, you're telling me he did suspend his campaign after all. Well, good for him. That's what he should have done. Although I didn't mind having him around. Excuse me. So we've got 16 very silent people watching. I don't know if you saw me draw this yesterday. Yesterday evening I drew this one up. Those should not be blue. Those are pieces of elephant flesh. This is that. The one Lily Bean can't believe is still in there is Kasich. Well, I can see an argument for Kasich. Kasich is very much the establishment guy. The title Rubio wants to wear. But I don't trust Rubio. Rubio doesn't seem to have the grasp on things that I'd like to have him have. I don't like hearing all the warmongering talk, the neocon stuff that comes out of Rubio, that I don't hear as much from Kasich. I would vote for Kasich over Rubio or over Cruz. Maybe I'd vote for Trump over Kasich. Not sure I like that blue suit. To think about it some more. Okay. Let's get those areas where I needed to have red before. Not the only one. No. Okay. Look at, please, your Art Trump versus Asian Boy XD. Trump versus Asian Boy XD. Not familiar with that syndrome down. Tell me more about Trump versus Asian Boy HD. Trump versus... I don't know about Trump versus Asian Boy. What's up with that? Trump versus Asian Boy. Oh, there's a chunk where I forgot the red on the side of his head. Why didn't I get that? Kind of an obvious one. Don't let me forget that. Asian boy with cap airplane. No, I don't understand you. Okay. Getting there. Your art, Trump versus Rubio, I think. I don't know about Asian boy. Not sure what you mean. Okay, I think that's got him there. Alright, I can give him red eyeballs. Let's do that. Give him a blue tie. That might be forgettable. I would like for the tie to not draw attention to itself. Look at this on comp. Alright, let's look at that. Okay, that's a drawing from yesterday. I'm not sure what Syndrome Down is getting at. A little more of that blue here. That's the tie. Make his hair forgettable, it should be blue. But I think I might make it this gray-brown. Syndrome Down writes, you have not this art on PNG? Yeah, it went out to newspapers yesterday, but I haven't posted it in the blog. You can find it on politicalcartoons.com or caglecartoons.com in the archives for newspapers on caglecartoons.com and for pay-per-use on politicalcartoons.com. I think he's maybe thinking that Marco Rubio is an Asian boy in my drawing, which is odd. Okay, let's give him some little bit of gums. There's some gums, that's about all the gums he's got. Inside of the mouth can be pink. Let's do that. A little bit of pink there. And then a little bit of gray tone for shade on the teeth. Just a hint of shade on the teeth. Okay. Give him a little bit of shade in his flesh tone. I'll put that there. bit. Shade on his trunk. So Cyberdrome doesn't understand London. Syndrome down. I think maybe we have a language issue going on. So, still not hearing much about what you folks have to say, considering there's 18 people watching. Not a lot of comments. So, do I want to put some color behind him? I'm not quite sure I do. I might want to give him a little bit of highlight texture. Let's try that. Opacity should come down. Lily Bean. Yeah, I drew this one after I finished the Trump Rubio with the airplane hair. In fact, here, I'll show you something. I've still got my other camera working. So there's my Wacom tablet. Here's the rough sketch for yesterday's drawing. And what's interesting about this one is that I cut it up with scissors to make the cracks, and then I drew it from my chopped up sketch. So that's how we got to where we are. Yes, everyone's talking about the GOP. Are they going to break up? Is this an existential crisis for them? Perhaps it is. It would be interesting. So now the question is, do I want that background to have anything going on, because it's looking like it's kind of dull, isn't it? Let's say try yellow. Opacity of I don't know, 21. The brush bigger, 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 bigger. Now let's see if I like it. Oops, wrong tool. Goodness, and I made the stamp bigger. That's too dark. So do I like that? I don't know. Do we like that? It does give a little bit more pop. Do we like that? I can give it a little bit of more yellow down here. And a little bit of break it up with white on the edges. Lighten that up a little bit. I kind of think I like having a little bit of yellow there. Kinda. Bit of red there. Another interior spot I missed. I think maybe his fingernails are just a little too white, huh? Let's go with a little bit lighter purple. Let's Boy, I've been drawing on this more than an hour already. Get up here and draw a little more texture. He can use a little more dark in his suit as well. Let's do that. just a little bit more character going on. I haven't quite decided if I want to give up on his suit being this blue. I might give up on it. A little bit darker for the shoes. Getting close to being finished here if I'm going to be happy with this blue. Then I'm going to need to make a black and white version, because I don't think this is going to look good if it's just grayscaled. So there he is. He's breaking up. Am I happy with that? I'm not sure. I might just be futzing too much with it now. Is this done? That's a question. Might be done. Let's give him a little more gray shirt here. There. I think that helps a little. Well, that just may be all there is to this. I'd give it a hint of orange at the bottom. Okay, maybe he's done. Let's save as. This up with the cartoons that are ready to go out. This should be number 1100, Shattered Elephant. We'll need to take out the layers and save again. Now let's, I'm going to save as a JPEG because often those TIFF files are just too big. I've got to get it down to under 3.5 megs. So we'll go as JPEG 9, okay. And let's see what that saved as. 3.4 meg, so we're okay. Alright, cancel, cancel. Now I'm going to go back to my saved version and make it into, here you see, someone suggested yesterday that I look up shattered glass on Google. And notice all the shattered glass was in one way or another bullet holes. I'm going to go to this last one. See, I've got all my layers back. I'm back where I was. Let's save as save it as gray 3. Now let's I think I'm going to want the background out. Okay, there's no background. And here's grayscale. Don't merge. Okay. Oh, his flesh tone is too dark. So let's try lightening this up. That's looking better. And I've got that more contrast from his shadow layer. That's looking to work there, I think. Eyes might be dark. Okay, let's see what we think of this in grayscale. Don't merge. Okay. Well, that's looking better. I think I can go with that. I'm going to put a little bit of tone on the ground. Go with the gray here. All right. Opacity 40. So here's a little bit of tone on the ground. Just needs something to stand on. Is there anything else he needs? He could use a little bit of bright white, I think. Seeing as it's grayscale, it can stand a little bit more more contrast. Put that up here. Hildinator. Well, nice to see you, Hildinator. You need to follow me, Hildinator. I'm hurting for follows. I have no follows for my whole session today. No new follows. So this is going to give him a little bit more kind of a paper texture, I think. And it's really my sponge texture. But Gives everything a little bit more living together. Oh, thank you for following Hildinator. Hildinator. There's your zombie. Okay. Is he done? Is this the black and white that I want? Does this please me? These are the next questions. As I hit the hour-and-a-half mark. I think I may just go with this for the black and white, and I may be done. Background is out. I need to double check that all the time. Alright, let's do it. I'm gonna flatten everything except the top layer. So I can make last changes if I want to. Do I want to? I could lighten up his eyes a little bit. It's a little better. Hildinator writes, Teffy told me you were awesome, man. I trust him, and then I see that drawing and it's confirmed. Oh, well, cool. Teffy, huh? Is Teffy one of my followers? Okay, this is the black and white version, and I think I may be done with this. Is there anything else I want to do? Probably a stronger cartoon in black and white than it is in color. Just for the sake of comparison, we can open up the color one, and you can see it here again. And you know, editors always prefer the color, but I think the black and white's looking a little stronger. It needed lighter flesh than the color version. The color would have flattened him out in gray, so you can see color, gray. Yeah, I think I'm good with it. So this is the grayscale version. I'm going to completely flatten and save as. $1100. B. Numbers don't mean anything. I just started numbering the images 1100 images ago. And I think I'm done. So, Hildinator, you kept me from getting skunked today on followers, so thank you so much. And I'm just gonna send this out to newspapers, and then I'm gonna spend the afternoon doing cartoonist bookkeeping. So I will draw another cartoon probably tomorrow or Friday, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and thank you again for your nice follow, Hildinator, and your kind words. And thank you. And you can see me drawing this cartoon yesterday as the most recent video before this one, and it's coming after, in that video, coming after my coloring the previous cartoon. What am I going to make for the next cartoon? I don't know. I don't have any good ideas yet. I'll turn the news on while I'm doing bookkeeping, and you can see the next one. You can also go to darylcagle.com and click on other recent cartoons, and I've got the videos, with the recent cartoons there, so it's easy to look back on the old stuff. So, hey, thank you, everybody, and I'll be back before long, and appreciate everything and the kind words in the following.